Hello. Hi, TikTok. Hi, Instagram. Hi, Facebook. We're going to be very short today, so let's jump straight into it. I'm going to jump straight into it today. And please do go ahead and share this. Let someone know that we're going live. I am going to make sure I do my due diligence and share it as well as we talk today about this idea of, are you being a resource or a revelation? Let me put live now. I'm just sending it to my channel as well on Instagram. And so good to see you guys here on TikTok and those on YouTube and Facebook. Say hi when you come on in. Definitely love when you guys say hello. We're going to talk for a moment about this idea of a resource or a revelation, a resource or a revelation. And so you can definitely ask me questions as well. I've got Q&A boxes everywhere. And so whatever question you want to ask while I'm live, I'm only going to be short because we have somebody coming in the church like very soon. And I also have to go and help a friend out. So we're going to be very, very quick today. All right. And I've got some really exciting news as well. You can join the wait list for my membership. My membership is only $27 a month. It is called the Desired Woman Membership. And it's going to be an amazing time. So say hello. Hi, Instagram. Hi, Facebook. Hi, YouTube. Hi, TikTok. Wherever you're watching me from, it is so good that you guys are here. I'm going to jump straight into what I want to share with you today is that this is what I want to say to you, right? I've got my iPad, so you know I'm serious today. I got my notes and I'm going to stick to it. And we are literally going to be 10 minutes in this session today. All right. You can put a timer on because I'm only going to be 10 minutes today. Right. Here's the thing that I need you to understand, right, is there's no reason for you to keep attracting men who need you, but who don't pursue you. That's what we're talking about today. Why you attract men who need you, but they do not pursue you. Oh my gosh, I'm going to move forward because this chair is so squeaky. There's no reason why, right? And today, what we're going to talk about today is going to change that for all of you. That is going to be changed immediately once we finish with this conversation. And it is super important that you understand this because it's going to stop you from being that kind of woman who is only needed but never seen as a revelation. And I'm going to describe someone to you. So if you see yourself in this, then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So let me describe someone to you. She's accomplished. She's faithful. She prays. She serves. She shows up. She's worked really hard, right, to become someone who is worth choosing. Yeah. Does that sound familiar to anybody here today? She doesn't understand why she's still waiting, why she's never been pursued, why she's never been proposed to. She doesn't get it, right? Let me know if you recognize yourself in what I'm saying here today. So she gives, she supports, she makes herself available, she makes herself useful, and she makes herself easy to be seen. But the men in her life, they appreciate her, they rely on her, they call her amazing, but they do not pursue her. Now, in your opinion, what do you think the reason is? And you can definitely comment if you have a question or you have a relative comment or something you want to say. And while I'm here as well, I want you, if you're interested in what I'm saying today, you can join the wait list for my membership, which is just about to be launched. And if you want to get information on that, please do go ahead, click the link. You can see the link on my page. You can also see the link if you're somewhere here. It's everywhere around. And then you can also message me and I will send you the information if you can't access it yourself. And so what I want to definitely get into is, let me make sure I've shared this. Okay, cool. It's shared everywhere. La, 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 la. Okay, let me get back to what I was saying. Okay, so basically, why don't men pursue that type of woman? Why don't men pursue the woman who is useful, the woman who makes herself available, the woman who shows up, the woman who is there? And they don't wake up in the night thinking about her. They don't feel the urgency to have her in their lives. They don't feel it. They're comfortable with her, and comfort isn't the same as desire. If you're comfortable with a woman, but you never pursue her, it's because there is no desire there. You don't desire to be with her. You're not up at night thinking about her. She doesn't appear in your dreams and you're like wondering, why can't I shake this girl? Because I desire her. When you are not being pursued, you can often be seen as just being the one who's comfortable. And so if you're here, drop me some heart emojis. I'd love to just see some engagement here on this video as we continue. And I need you to hear this, that comfort and desire are not the same thing. Sometimes we can get it misconstrued, we can get it misunderstood, we don't know what we're saying, but comfort and desire are not the same thing. And I'm going to tell you what's happening in this scenario. This woman has trained them and herself for them to relate to her as only a resource. And a resource is something that you access when you need something. You sent me a message, but you ignored. Okay, I'll have to have a quick look. I'll check it out. She is a resource. Oh, so a resource is something you access when you need something. A resource is functional. A resource is reliable. A resource is consistent. A resource serves a purpose. And sometimes as a woman, and even as a godly woman, you're Holy Spirit filled, you're praying, you're fasting, you're doing all the things, putting yourself in the right places, and you're being told that you should be a Proverbs 31 woman, you should be useful. But you've been so good at being useful that nobody ever just learned to just want you, to just desire you. You're not seen as desirable. You're seen as a worker. You're seen as someone who is a good girl. You're seen as someone who is a good woman that will be a good asset for their ministry or something like that. But the desire isn't there. And this is what I need you to understand as it relates to this idea of, are you a resource or are you a revelation? They're two different things here, okay? And so when it comes to it, when you understand that the wound underneath the question not to ask is, why am I not being pursued? It's not that you're not worthy of pursuit, because that is obviously a lie from the enemy. And it's not that godly men do not exist, because they do. They do. They're everywhere. They're all over these social media streets. They're in churches. They're down at the supermarket. They are on the plane. They're everywhere, literally, is what I'm trying to tell you. But what you need to understand is that when you start leading with what you can do rather than who you are, then the only men that will want to be with you are the men who are looking for a resource in their life. And now you can be a resourceful woman and still be his revelation. The two are not, separate. However, you've got to understand, if you want to be the kind of woman, and I'm going to address this because I know someone is saying this. I know you're thinking, Rachel, does that mean I should stop giving, stop serving at church, stop being a blessing to the people around me? Like, I shouldn't cook him that dinner that I made him. I shouldn't show him that I am this or that. You've got to listen to what I'm saying here. A revelation doesn't mean that you're a woman who doesn't give anything, because of course, being a soft, feminine woman who loves God, you are going to be generous with your time and with your energy. But it's about knowing the difference between when your presence becomes a transaction, where you're just doing things because you expect to receive. They're not the same thing. I want you to think about this for a second. The same Hebrew word that's used in the Bible to describe a helper is the same word. Oh, I've missed my notes here. Here we are. The same woman that is described in the Bible as being a helper in Genesis, the Ezer, is the same word that God uses when he helps Israel. So God is described as Israel's Ezer, their helper. But nobody looks at God and says, oh, God's just trying to consume. God's just doing this. He wants to be seen. No one says that. God gives from fullness, from authority, from love. And so God is not given because he's desperate to be loved. He's doing it because he knows that he is the gift and the giver. And he's not doing it to gain approval from us. He's doing it because that's who he is. It's who his nature is. So that is the distinction. When a woman has become a resource and she only gives so she can be chosen, that's why you're not being pursued in the way that you desire, because you're only given so you can be seen. You're only volunteering so people can see you doing things. That's why there is a misalignment there. And when you give so that you can be seen, or give so you can be kept, you're useful because you believe that if you stop being useful, you'll stop being wanted. And you've got to understand that you can just be wanted for your energy. You can just be desired for your energy. The desired woman is different. The desired woman contributes because she is whole, because she has a generous heart, and because it's the nature of who she is, not because she's auditioning. You're not trying to be chosen or picked or any of those things. You're not withholding. You know how to be selective. You know your energy is expensive. So you know that you aren't just going to do things because you want to be seen. You know what you carry. You know your value. And you know that not every man has demonstrated the capacity to steward it. So you're not giving this to everybody. And that's the difference between a woman who is only seen as a resource, and a woman who is seen as a revelation. And so when you understand that you can be a woman who is helpful, who is generous, who is kind, but also seen as the woman that he's been waiting for, the woman that he pursues, the woman that he desires, the woman that he actually wants to have in his life, and not just because you're given to a man who has not yet proven that he's worthy of the gifts that you give. So yes, you do bring something to a man's life. You bring something beautiful and rich and full, but from a place of identity, from a place of knowing that I am a desired woman. And of course, my energy is expensive. And then once you see that, you can't unsee it. Once you realize this, you can't unsee it. I'm telling you this. And so I'm going to close because I've got to get out of here real quick. But we often understand that, obviously, a lot of people quote this passage, Proverbs 18:22, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and receives favor from the Lord. He finds her. So there is pursuit language in this idea. There is this idea of searching, and that means that she was somewhere, that she was simply being, and her presence was undeniable enough to be found. And these are some of the concepts that I'm teaching inside of the Desired Woman, which is your monthly membership, only $27. And within 90 days, you'll be pursued by godly, established, generous men within 90 days. All right. Because we walk through all of these things. When you are an impressive woman, this is the difference between a woman who's impressive and a woman who's irresistible. When you preside in who you are, the right man cannot overlook you. Even if he tries, he can block you on all social media. It doesn't really matter. Something about your energy keeps him thinking about you. And then when he sees you in person, he is going to absolutely be drawn to you. Impressive women make you respect them, but irresistible women make you reach for them. So that's the difference. That's the difference. One activates your admiration and the other activates your desire. When you are the desired woman, you are not performing. So you don't perform for the right man. And I hate when people say, oh, I'm feminine with the right man. Absolute crap. It is nonsense. When you are a woman in your feminine energy, everything you do, your femininity comes out in that. I preach, I lead worship, I lead teams, I do all sorts of different things, but I'm never accused of not being feminine. You know why? Because your essence is always going to come through. Your essence is always going to be coming through, because you cannot work your way into being pursued. Every time you add another thing to your list of qualifications and you're building a more impressive resume, you're not actually deepening your magnetism. A desired woman is a woman who presides in her identity. She knows that she is powerful, she is beautiful, she is magnetic. There's something about her. You know that song, There's Something About Her? And that is what this whole conversation is about. Because when you carry that kind of confidence, when you have that kind of frequency, you're never ignored. It doesn't matter how many women are in the same room as you. Doesn't matter how many people are in that church. There is something about you that the right man or men will be drawn to. And that is something that you need to understand. I teach this in my book. I've got a book called The Desired Woman. It's in the office over there. But if you want to get that book, go ahead, go to the link tree, and you'll be able to see my books, my resources, my coaching calls. And also, if you type on the first link, when you go to the link tree, the first link you'll see there is the free training called You Were Made to Be Found. And it's about the feminine secret that makes a godly man stop, notice, and pursue. When you get that, you'll be able to be on the waiting list for the membership, which we're going to be releasing within the next week. The details for that are coming out. So I've got to go because my dad just texted me, and that means it's time to wrap this up. That means he's almost here. And I want to end with this one last thing. And we'll probably do part 2 tomorrow. I think we'll do part 2 tomorrow. When you are the desired woman, and that's only one element. Tomorrow, I want to talk about the soft woman, the rich wife, and a few other elements of what that looks like, the supernatural woman. These are all frameworks that I teach, that God has given me. When you understand that you do not have to make yourself available, you make yourself undeniable, unforgettable. And I've noticed in my own life that when I have tapped into who God has called me to be even more, the more I do that is the more findable you become. The more you understand, and you don't have to hide who you are or anything, because godly, established, generous, Holy Spirit men, they are looking, and they are looking for women like you. He's looking to be undone, not to be helped. He's looking for the woman who undoes him, the woman that he can't stop thinking about, that he's like, I have to have her, because her in my life will bring me the magic that I'm looking for. And so if something has stirred inside you about what we've shared today, make sure you go ahead and let me know. Send me a message today. Say you really enjoyed what we're sharing today. Like this, share it with somebody else. If you're watching on TikTok, you can get the replays, will be on Facebook. And also, I want to invite you to get on the waiting list for the Desired Woman membership, which is going to be launching very, very soon. And you can also get the free resource that I've just shared with you, which is when you go to my link tree, the links are everywhere. You'll see the link in my bio here on TikTok. It's scrolling here on YouTube and Facebook, and it's right there on Instagram. Get the free training, You Were Made to Be Found, which talks about the feminine secret that makes a godly man stop, notice, and pursue. All right, my time is up. So I'm going to love you and leave you. By Instagram, by TikTok, and bye to those of you that are on YouTube and Facebook. We'll see you all again soon. Bye-bye.